Thank you and your companions with us on the YouTube channel of Nghe An Newspaper, the digital social publication of Nghe An Newspaper and radio and television. Right after this, we will come to the latest news that we have just updated. On March 22, at an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council in New York, Foreign Minister Ban Radoslawski warned that Poland would shoot down any missile or aircraft that entered NATO airspace without permission, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Mr. Zakowski said that do not come here to complain about that. The meeting was called after Russian aircraft were accused of invading Estonian airspace last week. Following similar incidents in Poland and Romania, Russia has denied these incidents. Earlier that day, Polish Prime Minister Donaldus affirmed that any flying object that violated Polish airspace would be shot down without discussion. On March 19, Estonia reported that 3 MiG-31 fighter jets had been in the air for 12 minutes before retreating. The incident followed a series of alleged Russian UAV incursions into Poland and Romania, which have alarmed Europe as Russia is testing NATO's response. Danish Foreign Minister Lucky Rasmussen warned that Russia's disregard for the rules has left its neighbors fearing it could be next. At a Security Council meeting, Estonian Foreign Minister Magastana said there was clear radar and photographic evidence of Russian fighter jets carrying missiles violating its airspace. Also on March 22, Kremlin spokesman the Michigan Cope dismissed Estonia's accusations, citing a lack of objective data. Mr. Peskov said Estonia's accusations were baseless and were merely an act to escalate tensions and create an atmosphere of confrontation. Many countries at the United Nations condemned Russia's actions as reckless and dangerous. British Foreign Secretary Yet Cooper said Britain was ready to take all necessary measures to protect NATO airspace and territory. If we need to engage aircraft operating in NATO airspace without permission, we will do so, said Bakur. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, My Onion, reassured allies that the U.S. and NATO would defend all territories. Mr. Onion warned that the Russian incursion could be a deliberate attempt to escalate and draw more countries into the conflict in Ukraine or a loss of control of the aircraft operator. Both were very worrying, he said.
Moscow Mayor Sobyanin claims to have intercepted a series of suspected Ukrainian UAVs on the night of 22nd.
In a post on his Telegram channel, Mr. Sobyanin wrote, "Our air defenses repelled about 20 drones." Mayor Sobyanin bet that Ukrainian UAVs continue to attack the Russian capital of Moscow. He said that Russian air defense systems are actively dealing with this threat. Mr. Sobyanin informed the air defense systems of the Ministry of Defense to repel the drone attack in Moscow. All emergency response forces have been mobilized. According to the Telegram channel Baz, fragments from one of the drones damaged 2 vehicles in the ROV. There are currently no reports of casualties or significant damage. Earlier, on the evening of 22, residents of the capital and neighboring areas of the Moscow region reported sounds similar to explosions in the air. According to witnesses from Odinsovo as well as the Kovo, Kuzminki, and Chektinovo areas. And from the central areas a series of explosions were heard. Local sources said air defenses had been stepped up to counter potential aerial threats from drones. The Russian Defense Ministry said Russian air defenses shot down 81 Ukrainian drones over Russian regions on the night of March 22.
Earlier, the Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that Russian air defense systems had intercepted and destroyed 114 Ukrainian drones on the night of March 21 and into the morning of March 22. The Ukrainian deep strike operation is the latest in a fierce war of attrition by the KF, which has used drones and long-range missiles to target key Russian military targets including air bases, weapons factories, and ammunition depots.
Iden Press reported that Ukraine is said to be targeting large and small Russian ammunition depots from the city of Donetsk to the front line in BR previously. KF warned about Russia sending a large force to the area called the Donetsk Citadel with about 150,000 people creating a pincer movement. Ukrainian soldiers also expressed concern about Russia sending the elite Rubicon UAV unit to the field to set up fire zones to cut off the KF's important supply lines in the area. In this context, Ukraine decided to launch a surprise attack on Russian logistics. According to Ukraine, these airstrikes hit a number of key Russian ammunition depots in the area. In Donut, a series of violent explosions occurred after Ukraine's long-range UAV penetrated the Russian defense system. Video from the scene recorded images of black smoke rising from a facility believed to be a Russian weapons depot with shock waves emitted. Secondary explosions continued for many hours. At least in 2 different areas of Donut, images of smoke columns suggest that Russian ammunition depots may have been hit. According to Euromaidan Press, these surprise attacks demonstrate the ability of Ukrainian intelligence to gather information as well as to aim accurately. On the other hand, Ukraine also recorded the attack and ammunition depot of Russia in Saladop. This facility has long been used as a main rear balance center thanks to its large size and relatively effective concealment for Russian troops in the direction of Bo. Ukraine believes that the sudden and necessary attacks of Russia are posing a great challenge to Moscow in launching a major battle in Pop. In the context, Kiev is also facing a significant challenge in both numbers and weapons. The Donut-Yasinovato-Kalivka railway triangle combined with the Adivka-Ohrytina road corridor has long been the lifeline for the Russian attack in the direction of Pop. By attacking depots in this network, Ukrainian units are forcing Russia to disperse its ammunition into smaller depots and use convoys, which are vulnerable to attack. Russia has not commented on the Ukrainian claims, but if Moscow's logistics hub in Saladop is attacked, it will lose a key weapons staging point in South Pop. This means that supplies will have to travel longer routes, consume more fuel, and are vulnerable to UAVs and artillery. According to Ukrainian experts, the recent Kiev raids on Donut and Salad are not isolated incidents, but part of a continuous Ukrainian campaign to affect Russia's logistics capabilities. However, this does not mean that the KF is gaining an advantage. Its forces in the BR area are under constant logistical pressure as Russia advances in many areas, and the fire zones established by Moscow are proving effective. Many of Ukraine's key supply routes are constantly monitored by Russian reconnaissance UAVs, and firepower is always ready to stop them.
On 22nd, the DKF independent newspaper quoted the statement of the same day of the Ukrainian Defense Intelligence Directorate HUR as saying that for the first time, Ukrainian forces attacked 2 Russian B-12 Chuk seaplanes in Kum. The attack was reportedly carried out on 21st by the Mary Special Unit of the Ukrainian Defense Intelligence Directorate. In a statement issued on 22nd, the Ukrainian Defense Intelligence Directorate said that the special unit had carried out several successful drone attacks on Russian military assets since the outbreak of the Ukrainian conflict in February 2022, but this was the first attack in history. They targeted the B-12. The Soviet-designed B-12CH is an anti-submarine seaplane equipped with high-value systems for detecting and attacking submarines. Put into service in the 1960s. This type of aircraft was used by the Soviet Army, then the Russian Army, Ukraine, and some other countries. In addition, the Ukrainian Defense Intelligence Directorate also said its forces attacked a Russian Mi-8 helicopter. Previously, on May 21, the agency reported destroying 3 Russian Mi-8 helicopters and a radar station in Kum. Kum, which was annexed by Russia in 2014 and is now under the control of Moscow, has become a highly militarized fortress serving the conflict with Ukraine. Ukrainian forces have repeatedly attacked the Kum Peninsula with missiles and drones since the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine conflict in May 2022. Earlier this September, the Ukrainian Defense Intelligence Directorate announced the destruction of the 48IA-6K1 radar and an RMM module of the 556M Nebum system, in addition to the Mi-8 helicopters and a tugboat attacked earlier in the month. On 21st, HUR said it had attacked Russian bases in Crimea, releasing footage from drones. According to ZKFO, HUR attacked Mi-8 helicopters and the Nebum radar system in Crimea as Ukraine intensified its attacks on the peninsula. Although the exact timing is unclear, HUR released video of the attacks along with the announcement on 21st. In the update, HUR added that the number of Mi-8 helicopters attacked was 3 and the specific name of the radar system was 55Z6 Unebu, an expensive Russian system. This information was accompanied by evidence taken from the drone's thermal camera. Images shared by HUR show a drone attacking a rota antenna while other footage shows the drone heading towards Mi-8 helicopters parked at the airbase. The exact location of the attacks is unknown. The Rota Nebu was first tested in 1992 and went into mass production 2 years later. The exact cost of the system is not known. Ukrainian website Suspline put the price at $100 million after a similar system was attacked in Russia's PR region in May 2024. Meanwhile, RT said the upgraded Nebo variant cost $4.7 million by September 2025, taking into account inflation in Russia after the 2022 military campaign. The modernized NEB variant cost around $6 million by that time. The Mi-8 helicopter, first introduced in 1967, is a mass-produced military helicopter used for transport, troop movement, and sometimes combat missions.